Hello, sugar. That was a bit of a strange one. Anyways, hello everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Ero F2. As you can see, today is round 6, and it will be held around the wonderful Circuit de Catalunya in Spain. So currently, the last race was quite. To be honest, a few of the races have been quite entertaining this season. We've got a pretty close championship battle. You've got a few drivers such as the Mercedes and Jericho Balgos, who's actually yet to win a race, but has generally been the man on the pace. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not he can take his first victory of the season. Currently, the championship leader is the Williams driver Aldridge, who won out in, he's also yet to win a race. So we've had, I believe it's I think we've had a different winner in each race. So we've had 5 different winners up until now. So whether or not that's going to be the same, I guess we're about to find out. One thing I will say is that Jericho Balgos is going to be looking for a very clean, I was going to say weekend, but you guys know what I mean, a very clean evening to try and take his first victory, and so will Aldridge. But in order to do that, they're going to have to navigate what is a very, very tricky circuit in terms of tyre wear and also just keeping the car on the track, mainly because of that tyre wear. Let me just get the stream up on my phone. So I don't even know if I don't even know if JJ is going to be with me today. I've not received a message, so I'm assuming he's not available. But nonetheless, I am here, so it should be good stuff. In terms of the weather, I guess we're about to find out. Hopefully, it doesn't rain. Let's because wet races can be fairly dull in general, especially around Spain. It's very hard to overtake, and qualifying is wet. We don't mind that as long as the race is the complete opposite. Let's just find out. Okay, so let's get this stuff. And also, please let me know if you can hear and I forgot to mute everybody, so people that are actually in game chat will be able to hear me. Apologies, guys. You're gonna have to firm it essentially. So please let me know if you guys can hear like a slight buzzing noise. Okay, it's going to be a dry race. So we might mix things up in quali a bit, and it will also definitely mix up the strategy because we are due to have a dry race, but as you can see, qualifying is going to be wet. So going to be interesting to see how things pan out by the end of the qualifying session. Currently the first driver out on track is Toincoin in the Red Bull. Thank you very much, Mark, by the way, for the very clear picture of the weather. Let me just get the championship standings up once more, just so I can talk you through them in a bit more detail. So the current championship leader is Aldridge. He's leading Yome, who won that crazy race in China. He's leading Yome by 9 points. So Aldridge currently on 52 points, Yome on 43 in second, and then we've got Jericho Balgos, who's also yet to win a race, on 42 points, and then we've got Lekala, so Aldridge's teammate in the Williams. Is he here? No, not the Williams. I always get. Actually, no, it is the Williams. Yeah, I don't think Lekala is here, unfortunately. Though he's currently in 4th position on 41 points, so 2 points covering second to 4th, and then you've got 2 points below that. You've got Masiek on 39 points, and then you've got Ferret on 36. Obviously, Ferret won out in Austria and then was unfortunate in France when reacting to a driver going off the track. He basically put it in the barrier. So unfortunately for him, it was a DNF last time out. But it will be up for grabs today, the victory. Qualifying has most certainly made sure of that because of the fact that we're going to have a wet qualifying session. So it might mix up the grid a bit, and it looks like Toincoin's invalidated before he's got down to turn 1. So let's see who else is on a lap behind him. I think Goldzik is on a lap. I think so. This is the man I believe reserving for Lekala at the moment in the Williams. So we'll watch out for him and see what his pace is like. I was going to say, well, to be honest, I have no idea if these guys did any wet practice, so I guess we'll wait and see. But in terms of setup, I don't think the setup is too much different, obviously, because it's a very high downforce circuit nonetheless. Intermediates as well, so you probably wouldn't change too much. Maybe slight adjustments on the ride height. So all in all, we probably shouldn't see too many differences in terms of pace in quali and the race. So it will be interesting to see who does get clean laps and can capitalize on the conditions. But at the moment, Goldzik, he's doing a good enough job. He's kept it in between the white lines. Really, that's all you're looking for at this stage of qualifying. Oh, and Commentator's curse day gets a little bit out of shape. Yeah, okay, Commentator's curse is seriously a real thing. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It is definitely a real thing, because often I find myself saying something just out of, I guess, saying it, and then basically the opposite of what I've said happens. And Goldzik does set a lap on a 27.6. Captain Emre just, excuse me, just behind on the 27.5. Ferret in the Ferrari. Well, it's going to be a few cars coming around the final corners. There's a Haas or Bios who's invalidated his lap. And then there's an Alpha Tauri somewhere. And Aldridge is showing up as him on the wets, but he's, as you can see, clearly not on the wet tyres. But is the championship leader going to go provisional pole? You can see Jerko Balgos has done a 26.5, and Aldridge goes slightly quicker, just over a tenth of a second. I believe that's Toincoin coming to the line to start a lap. He had to, actually no, yeah, that is Toincoin. But we will go on board with Mo HD, so the winner last time out in France. He's currently in P11 in the, no, he's not P11. He is, he's P11 in the standings. Sorry, I forgot how to count for a second there. Even after the race win last week. So let's see what he can do today in Spain. Currently comfortable with the sector. There's quite a few cars in the final sector, so we want to avoid that. Whilst we were speaking there, Malberg has gone up into P3, so 3 cars separated by maybe about a tenth and a half at the moment. So looking very competitive at the top of the field. Still 10 cars yet to set a lap. You can see Jerko Balgo slowing just in front of Mo HD, but it shouldn't be an issue. Looked very, very clean through the final chicane. Very tricky final chicane. Oh, almost invalidating there, but he's kept it nicely inbounds, and he goes provisional pole, and then is quickly beaten by Patuka, who goes about 5 thousandths of a second quicker. So it looks like the track might be drying up slightly, the lap time dropping. Oh, and Aldridge was up by half a second, and unfortunately he invalidates. That would have put him on provisional pole, but he going a bit wide there. He did a 25.9. Unfortunately does not count. As Jerko Balgos is also improving by 2 tenths of a second. It looks like the rain is easing up very, very slightly. We've got Malberg in the final sector, so we'll jump on board with the Haas driver. We'll keep Jerko Balgos in mind, currently coming through the middle sector, but at the moment Malberg with a McLaren up ahead, it shouldn't be an issue. I turned it a little bit early there, had to kind of correct it slightly, got a little bit out of shape on the exit, but can he keep it inbounds? Yes, he does. Is it going to be provisional pole? Yes, it is. A 25.8. So let's see who else is coming around the track. We've got a Tapper coming through the final corner. Can he put himself up into the mix in the early stages of qualifying? It's going to be a 26.0, so he goes P2. There's a few other cars in terms of the Williams, and like the Williams, the Alpine, I'm really bad with colours, so I don't really know what's what, but Goldzik goes P2. I believe Slippy Jimmy did improve, but stays P14. Let's have a quick look at Jerko Balgos as he invalidated, unfortunately, his lap, so he stays in P8. Aldridge, obviously, as you saw on the last lap, invalidated, and he's invalidated another one, so not smooth sailing for the guys that are going to be looking to take their first victories of the season. Insanely enough, really, because I think you'd probably say on pace they are probably the quickest in this division, but it does really show you that absolutely anything can happen, as there's another car coming across the start-finish line. There's an Alfa Romeo, I believe that's Masiek, so let's follow Masiek through the final corner. Currently 4 tenths up. It might be only good enough for around P5, but let's have a look and see where it puts him. P10, 26.9. There's yellow flags being waved in the middle sector. Quite a few cars going through there at the moment. I believe the McLaren of Murphy is, I think he's just done a lap, so he's just gone P8. And let's try and get on board one of these cars in the final sector. Goldzik, ooh, and he's jumped across the pit entry. Fortunately, it's not the race, otherwise he'd be in a bit of trouble there. Patuka is currently on a lap, but he's got the Red Bull up ahead of him, getting very good rotation. That looks very, very clean there from Patuka. Let's see if he can improve on his lap time, though. It's a very, very short burst to the line as Mo goes provisional pole by 0.3 of a second. A very good lap from the Red Bull, and Patuka going P2 on a 25.6. Let me just check the comments because I'm sorry I can't be there. Oh mate, yeah, you left me all of my ones, all by myself. It's alright though. Fuck's sake. What's that? Sorry, my apologies. Okay, Aldridge goes on a provisional pole, very, very close out in front at the moment. Apologies for the very brief pause there, as there's more yellow flags are being waved in the middle sector. Let's see if anybody else is on a lap. It looks like they are just kind of going around consistently, which is generally what you do in wet conditions, because obviously as you do more laps, you start to gain a better feel for the track, and the lap times just start to drop. So you can see Mo HD up in the middle sector, but he has got an Alpine up ahead that does look like he's slowing down ever so slightly. So hopefully he can either jump out of the way or just not block him up too much. You probably won't lose as much time as you would in the drag, because obviously you're going a little bit slower. Can he keep it in bounds? Will he understeer off? No, he keeps it just about in. Is it going to be quicker? Yes, it is, by 0.2 of a second. So at the moment, the race winner from last week is the man to beat, but Aldridge is currently improving in the middle sector by about 2.5 tenths. Got a little bit skatey on the rear there. Looked like he was going to spin it off to the left-hand side of the track, but he's managed to keep it together nicely. What can he do in this very, very tricky and tight final sector? You want to kiss both apexes. He hit the second one very, very nicely, short shifting all the way up to, actually no, he was actually holding quite high gears there. Obviously you do that to minimize the wheel spin, and he's going to come across the line and he goes on provisional pole. So it's a very, very big battle for pole position at the moment. I'm not really too sure who's going to get it. A lot of drivers currently in the pits. Let's have a look a bit further down. Champ has really surprised us in qualifying the last couple of races in terms of setting very, very late fast laps. So let's follow him on board in this middle sector and see if he can put himself up into the top 10, as I believe Murphy's gone up into P9 on the 26.0. Champ's about to come across the middle sector line and he's up by 0.3 of a second. So at the moment that would be enough to put him into the top 10. If you can find a bit more time, he may well find himself in the top 5. So there's a Alpine off to the right of the track. Hopefully he doesn't come back on the track too dangerously. He doesn't. Hopefully that didn't kind of unbalance Champ too much. We'll see what his final sector is, because really, like, things like that can be distracting even though it's ever so slight, and Champ does go P7. Yeah, things like that can be so distracting. If it doesn't really need to be too much, it can just be a car doing something silly in your peripheral and suddenly you're locking up or you're just doing something you would normally do. Okay, cool. I believe Aldridge will be coming into the pit, so let's have a look and see who else is on the lap. Who's in the final sector? There's a few cars. Massier currently improving by 0.1 of a second. So can he put himself up into the top 10? He went a little bit deep on that first apex. You can see he would have lost time. He's coming to the pits, so he went a bit deep on the first part of the apex. So we'll follow Ferrier on board, and he's up by 0.2 of a second. He was quite competitive early on in the session. Only 5 minutes remaining now, but he did pull a good middle sector time. So hopefully for him, he can set a competitive lap time. His teammate Patuka is currently up in 3rd position, and is also out on an out lap. So and Jericho Bargos was probably in front of him, and that is that is really unfortunate for both drivers. I'm not too sure why he didn't ghost, but that is terrible for Ferry. Massive disappointment for the Ferrari driver. I just hope nobody else is going to come and collect them on the track. But yeah, massive disappointment for Ferret. His teammate is going to see him totaled on the track. Jericho Balgos also out of the session. Unfortunately, he spun in exactly the wrong place you want to be around this circuit, and that means that it will be no more than P4 for the Mercedes driver who's really trying to get his championship chase back on track. He may well find himself in a very precarious situation come the end of this qualifying session, but at the moment it's going to be no higher than P4 and P12 for Ferret and Jericho Balgos. We're currently riding on board with Patuka, who's improving by just under 0.2 of a second here in the first sector. Obviously still a very, very long way to go. A lot of short shifting, as you would obviously imagine, in the tricky conditions. Can he hook it up nicely to the inside? He probably could have been a bit closer, but he's driven off the track there, and that will be the lap time invalidated. I'm not too sure what happened there, but unfortunately for Patuka, that is the end of his lap. But we are on board with Otapa. I believe Coutinho may be on a lap also just ahead, but we'll assume that Otapa will be on the better lap and we'll follow him, as it looks like he's actually invalidated, and Coutinho is invalidated also. So quite a few drivers currently struggling to get laps at the moment, but Bios is on a lap. I believe is probably the only person actually on the lap out of all the people that are on laps. But yeah, Bios will follow him on board in the middle sector, up by 0.4 of a second. 3 minutes left in the session, so we will expect all the cars out on track very, very shortly. Very wide line there from Bios. We probably didn't lose too much time, but you would have lost time there. You saw the big lock up on the front right, and it probably won't be good enough for the top 10, but let's see where it does put the Haas driver. He may well prove me wrong. He's going to come across the line on the 26.5. Yes, unfortunately not enough for the top 10. It is P17 at the moment. Still a few more minutes to go. Twain Coin just about keeping it inbounds, and he might pick up a small slipstream from the Alpha Tauri, I believe that is ahead, and he goes up into P5. So a good lap there from the Red Bull, only 0.6 off of provisional pole. But what we have also got is Patuka again coming through the middle sector. Mo HD has also started probably his penultimate lap. He'll probably get another lap after this, and that will be it. So we'll stay on board with the Ferrari for the moment. I didn't quite catch that middle sector time, but I do know he was up in the first sector, looking very, very squirmy on the rear in that Ferrari. Only a few more corners to navigate, so whether or not he can keep it clean on the track will be decisive. As to whether he can put it on the front row, the rear really looking quite all over the place. You can hear it even under traction. He's really struggling to get the power down. Is he going to improve? No, he doesn't. So he lost a lot of time there in that final sector. Mo HD has currently got an Alpha Tauri up ahead of him on the track of Hassan. So hopefully he doesn't get in his way, as we've seen him do on quite a few occasions this season. Again, I didn't catch that middle sector time, but we will watch it in the last sector and see if he can find what he needs to put himself on provisional pole. He may well find it better to actually back out right now and start the final lap in some clean air, because now he's going to have to do his last lap behind Hassan. But will this be enough of a provisional pole? Nonetheless, no, it's not. He doesn't improve. He lost time there. You've got Aldridge, who's currently up by 0.03 of a second. Is anybody else behind improving? Twain Coin, so he's slowed down and gone for another lap. Mo HD's got himself stuck behind Hassan, which is genuinely not what you want to do. But can Aldridge take advantage and stretch his lead out in front? He's only going to have one more sector to do that. He's currently improving only by 0.07 of a second, though, so very, very small margins out in front at the moment. Oh, and you can see he actually got on the power on the curb, and that lost him. That most certainly would have lost him some time. We'll see what happens coming through the last few corners as to whether that could be a very, very costly, very, very small error that could cost him pole position, as there's yellow flags in the middle sector. I believe that's Hassan slowing down in front of the Red Bull, and Aldridge does not improve, and you can see Mo HD's lost 0.5 seconds, so he would have lost some time there behind the AlphaTauri. So can anybody capitalize on this? Patuka's about to start his final lap at the moment. Toincoin is currently in the middle sector. So let's watch that middle sector time as he's currently up by 0.2 of a second. So if you can find a little bit more time in this final sector, you may well find himself on or displacing his teammate on the front row of the grid here. Let's have a quick look down. Malberg starting a lap time. There's a few cars coming across the start-finish line at the moment. None of them setting laps. I believe they all started, and that is the end of the session. Yomi doesn't get to do another lap. He's only a few seconds out across the line. But can Toincoin displace his teammate on the front row, or will it be a few rows behind that? He's P3 at the moment, so it's currently a Red Bull 2-3. Mo HD has invalidated. Aldridge has also invalidated. Patuka is up by just under 0.2 of a second. So can Patuka, will Patuka be the man to take pole position here? Very, very high pressure situation at the moment. It's going to only be this lap to count towards it. I don't think anybody else is currently on the lap. You've got Malberg also in the middle sector, so we'll keep a close eye on that as Patuka's improving by just under 1/10.5, and there's a spinner in the final sector. Malberg has invalidated his lap, so we'll stay on board with Patuka. Otapa, I believe, is coming across the line, and he goes P4 right at the end of the session there. A good lap from the Aston Martin driver. What can Patuka do though? Can he put himself on the front row, and better yet, will it be pole position? I believe Woutinho just gone up into P16 as Patuka's about to come across the line, and it is P3. So a good lap right at the end there to split the Red Bulls, but it looks like it's Aldridge on pole position. A very, very messy end to the session for the front, or the guys out in front, besides Patuka and Toincoin and Otapa. Unfortunately for Jericho Balgos, he didn't get the opportunity to really fight for pole position after spinning at the last corner and being collected by Ferret, who you can also see is down in P14. So they'll suffer massively because of that. Obviously, you can start on whatever tires you want because the qualifying was in the wet. So not the best of situations for Ferret, but Aldridge takes pole position, and Mo HD will accompany him on the front row, with Patuka doing a lap there just at the end to go P3, and Toinco and splitting the Red Bulls. Also Atapa doing a very good job there at the end of the session. Hey, F1 Racing Gameplay, how you doing? Yeah, thank you, JJ. Hopefully it does go well. You can see the times there, the top two separated by 0.03 of a second, so very, very close battle between the two of them. It didn't really materialize into what it could have been, because obviously very late laps were invalidated, and I think maybe Mo HD was struggling a bit behind the AlphaTauri, but you can see the standings there. I don't know why I'm scrolling so fast. You've got Otapa, Jericho Balgos, Captain Emre, Malberg, Yomi and Goldzik rounding out the top 10, which realistically won't matter too much compared to how much it normally does, because they will most likely all start on the medium tires. But it'll be interesting to see if anybody chooses to do anything differently. And we're about, I can see a few soft tires there, interestingly enough. Let's have a quick look. And wow, okay. So you've got a few cars on the softs. I wonder if they may be thinking that there's going to be an early safety car. The likelihood of a safety car is generally quite high. The last corner is a place where, especially on worn rear tires, you will see maybe a fair amount of spinners. And then you've obviously got the guys outside the top 10, most of them favouring the hard tyres. Actually, it's quite evenly matched, but still, yeah, the majority on the hard tyres. But I think the ones to watch out for are the guys on the softs. So Jericho, after the unfortunate end to his qualifying, has chosen to go for the soft tyres. So a very aggressive strategy from him. He'll want to make his way up to the front as soon as possible. Okay, my apologies. Just checking the for some reason. This is the Discord. Alright, P Ferret, sorry. Yeah, I don't know why he didn't ghost, but then again, are we really surprised? This is a Codemasters game. Anyways, yeah, I think this is going to be a very good race, as we do tend to have in F2, so not really much of a surprise, to be honest, as the cars are rounding the final corners. I say corners because you've still got the car in last position. Yeah, now rounding the final corner, and there's a Haas, I believe it's BIOS, that's a little bit behind. So Aldridge landing up on the front row of the grid for what should be a fairly entertaining race. You've got a very, very big mixture of strategies, so maybe leave your race win or your podium predictions in the comments. It would be very, very much appreciated from myself. Don't be shy also. Yeah, I don't really know personally. I guess we're about to find out, as the lights are about to be, it's 4 lights and it's 5 lights. And it's last time we're going. Patuka's got a drive-through penalty. He's jumped the start, but he will get past Aldridge. You can see the Red Bulls are about to switch places. Toincoin up the inside of his teammate with a tapper sniffing an opportunity in behind. You can see Jericho Balgos going up the inside of Captain Emre. Patuka's going to maintain the lead at the moment, though. He jumped the start, so he'll have to drive through the pits within the next few laps. We've got a few cars going side by side through turn 3, and it looks all clean at the moment. There's a yellow flag being waved out at the back of the grid with Murphy having lost positions. You've got a tapper going a little bit wide there, and he's trying to pressure Jericho Balgos, having a little sniff up the inside. Is he going to make the move, get the move done? No, he doesn't. Jericho Balgos obviously starting on those soft tyres, so he'll want to maintain that position as much as possible, as Goldzik is out of the race and there's a virtual safety car. So maybe there was contact at the back somewhere, because Goldzik is out of the race. Yeah, it's very difficult to spin out there, so he probably made some contact. Let's have a look and see if anybody has got any missing bodywork. I guess, yeah, this is a good view. You can see, especially with the guys on the hard tyres, we'll have to try a lot to keep those hard tyres up to temperature. But at the moment, you can see Patuka's got a drive-through penalty. Unfortunately, he's jumped the start. And I don't think I've jumped the start in a league race before, but obviously in casual races, when you do jump the start, it's such a frustrating podium. Aldridge, Jericho, Mo HD. Okay, Aldridge, Jericho, Mo HD. We'll keep an eye out for that one. So we've got a prediction in there. Currently still virtual safety car. Is anybody gonna come into the pits? No, it's obviously a bit too early for that. Patuka with the drive-through penalty. Yeah, as I was saying, it's such a frustrating situation, because effectively your race is more or less over unless there's a safety car, because he'll have to come into the pits probably, I believe, at the end of this lap or the end of the next lap, and he's on the soft tyres, so not a very good situation for Patuka. Fortunately, the others didn't react to that, because that's one thing that can also happen. You can react to somebody jumping the start and jump the start yourself, but very good from the rest of them, as a Ferrari of Ferret is trying to pressure Hassan, who's on the medium tyres. But we have resumed racing here, and we have got a few battles going on out back. The gaps out in front are fairly consistent, but obviously Patuka is leading the race, but he's going to have to drive through the pit, so obviously keep that in mind. But we have got Mo HD closing up to the back of Aldridge at the moment, going down the straight there. So obviously we'll keep an eye. Oh, and Patuka spun out. So it's going from bad to worse for the Ferrari driver. He's dropping places like a stone. He's currently now in P11, P12. He's going to have to come into the pits. It's an absolutely horrible first 2 laps for Patuka after what was a very good qualifying from himself. He's probably going to come into the pits now. Yep, you can see he's coming through the pit lane at the moment, and he's serving his drive-through penalty. Hopefully he does not retire from the race, because there's obviously still a very long way to go, but an absolutely terrible first few laps for the Ferrari driver. Still 30 laps to go, but he'll need some type of miracle to find his way onto the podium in this race. So currently the top 3 is Aldridge and the Williams, and then you've got 2 Red Bulls, which we also saw last time out in France with Toincoin doing his teammate a very good defensive job there. Can he do a similar thing here, as he's got Jericho Balgos in the Mercedes on soft tyres behind him? He'll have to keep him occupied for the next couple of laps before those soft tyres start to cry enough, because it will be very soon before they start to cry enough, trust me. They don't last very long around the Circuit de Catalunya. We've got a few cars, it looks like, battling behind at the moment. DRS is activated as it is the 3rd lap, and you've got Eat My Dust and Kaipai going wheel to wheel and leaving each other enough room. It looks like the Aston Martin has made his way through, so good move there. He's currently on the medium tyres, Eat My Dust on the hard, so he'll struggle to keep up at this early phase of the race. Let's quickly jump back to Jericho Balgos and the battle for the podium position. Jericho Balgos is really going to need to get a move on, or if he's thinking for because it is possible to go soft medium, obviously it just means your tyres are going to be very bad, so to say. I was going to use a different adjective, but let's go with that, as also Aldridge getting a little bit wide there, and it looks like he could come under pressure from Mo HD, who's been on very good form in the last couple of races. Aldridge going wide again. I wonder if he's having a bit of an issue and locking up on the front left there, so Aldridge not finding the start of lap 4 very kind to him. So you can see he's getting out of shape there. What's going on with the Williams? He's completely lost his consistency there, and he's lost the lead. He may come under pressure from the other Red Bull as well. I don't know why the camera angle changed. There we go. He may come under pressure from the other Red Bull as well, who has a little look up the inside, but obviously thinks better of it, because he could have ended up T-boning his teammate. But we've got a very nice battle for the lead at the moment out in front. We've got a Tapper only 6 tenths behind, watching on in P5. But Aldridge was really struggling there at the start of lap 4, and he's lost the position. Obviously DRS is now available, so whether or not he's going to come back at Mo, we're about to find out. It looks like Toincoin is actually a lot closer to Aldridge than it is to Aldridge is to Mo. So yeah, you can see it there. He's using that DRS as Goldzik leaves the session. Unfortunately, he was out on lap 1. But everything does stay the same at the moment. We'll have a look down the field. We've got Champ going around the outside of Emirates. Is he going to make his stick? Ooh, very close to contact there, but very good move from Champ. You've got Toincoin still very close behind Aldridge, who's actually really dropping away from Mo at the moment. So the pace really not there. Let's follow this on board, as it looked like Toincoin was looking to make a move around the outside, but the gap currently 3 tenths of a second. You can see Mo starting to stretch his lead ever so slightly. His yellow flags. Is that Woutinho out back? I believe that's Woutinho who's spun out. He's currently on the hard tyres. He's currently on the hard compound, so he's not finding his race very good at the moment. For Jericho Balgos, unless he's really just being patient, which I think now he has to do, because he doesn't, the last thing you'd want to do is kill those soft tyres. So he'll have to be patient and really just wait, play the long game, put the medium tyres on when necessary, and essentially go that way. But we've got a bit of a DRS train forming here at the moment, which can often happen around Spain until the tyres do start to fall off. You've obviously got Jericho Balgos on the soft tyres, so give it a few laps and he'll probably start to struggle a lot more than the guys ahead of him. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not he can hang on in the DRS zone. You can see that between the front two, Mo has used a bit more of his ERS, so Aldridge in a fairly comfortable position. It looks like he's getting his consistency a bit more back, excuse me, a bit back under him after the very strange lap 4 he had, where he went deep on a few corners. Maybe he went wide and got some dirt on his tyres. That's probably the best explanation for it. But at the moment, only 7 attempts behind Mo. So still very big battle going on. And Jericho Balgos dropping off ever so slightly in the background there from Toincoin. So we'll keep an eye on that, and whether Tapper is going to smell an opportunity to make a move for P4. And if he does, he'll have to do it quickly, because what he doesn't want to do is lose the DRS, as it's really, really important around this track. From the aerial shot, you can see there Aldridge getting a good he had good mid corner speed, but he didn't really get the exit that he would have liked. And it looks like Toincoin could go for a move here. He is closing, and you've got Mo HD weaving a little bit down the straight. They need to give us this camera angle more often. I genuinely don't know why they don't do it. I'm not going to change it. As Ferret and Hassan switching places down the straight. So Ferret up into P9 on the hard tyres, so he could be in for a very good race if he can keep it up at the moment. So what was his podium prediction? Aldridge, Jericho, Mo HD. Aldridge is currently, so Aldridge, Mo HD and Jericho. So Toincoin is the cork in the bottle, so to say, for that podium prediction. What are the rest of your podium predictions? Please feel free to let me know. Currently on lap 7, it's been a fairly straightforward race up until this point. You can see that the field is quite closely threaded together. Not too many big gaps going on. The largest gap currently between what is now Masiek and Petuka down in P17. Besides that, everything is fairly close together. So wait for, you can see Jericho Balgos slightly dropping off from Toincoin. So his tires are going to start to wear very, very slow. Actually, he'd definitely be feeling it at the moment. You can see probably not too much. He didn't get the DRS on that last one. You can see he's actually completely, you can see how much he's using his ERS to try and get that DRS back. But I don't think that will help him at this point. Otapa will probably make his way into the DRS zone. You've still got the top 3 separated by absolutely nothing at the moment. They are all sharing the same piece of tarmac, and it looks like Aldridge is probably in the best position, especially in terms of his ERS. He's saving that very, very nicely, so he's got a bit of pace in hand at the moment. Have a look down the field. Yeah, so not really too much going on. You've got Champ about 0.3 of a second behind Yomir, who's currently second in the championship standings. Remember, Mo HD, after taking his first victory last week, he's gunning for another one today in Spain. Aldridge and Jericho Balgos looking for their first race victories this season, as well as Toincoin in the Red Bull. Excuse me. Oh, and Aldridge got out of shape. You saw that there, he followed down board, and Toincoin tried to go up the inside. He probably didn't have much of a choice, but this is going to give Mo HD a massive advantage, as he's now got Aldridge out of the DRS. But now Toincoin is surely going to go for the move, as Aldridge will be defenseless down the straight without the DRS, and Toincoin goes up the inside, and that is P2 for the Red Bull. So currently got a Red Bull 1-2 after Aldridge made another mistake. Also now it's brought Jericho Balgos back into play. He's going to have DRS behind Aldridge, so this can keep him alive for another lap or so. Otapa's not managed to hang on to the back of Jericho Balgos, interestingly enough. So we'll see how this pans out, but now it's currently a Red Bull 1-2 at the moment. So if they can park the bus like they did last time out in France, then they could, or they're in a very, very good position for a race victory, as I believe somebody's coming to the pits to retire. Oh no, Watinho. So Watinho spun and he's got damage. So I'm wondering if that could potentially be a virtual safety car. There's a bit of damage at the in the last corner. Jericho Balgos is going to really try and hang on for that DRS down this next straight. As you can see, Otapa has made his way into the DRS detection zone of Jericho, and it looks like he's a lot quicker, just taking out 2 attempts in those last couple of corners. But now Jericho has got the DRS. He is essentially back into play around this race, as Toincoin does the fastest lap of the race, and he's trying to chase down his teammate after Aldridge gifted him P2, and I believe that's Watinho off the track again. He's having an absolutely torrid time out there, the Alfa Romeo driver, on those hard compound tires. So a few battles currently going on and out on track. I think most notably when the pit window opens. When does the pit window open for Jericho? Because by now you'd probably expect he will definitely be thinking about a pit stop, because 10 laps on the soft tyres isn't a mean feat as far as I can remember. I've got a race here tomorrow, but I've not actually done any practice. Oh, and who's that? That's a spinner. I believe it's Coutinho again. Okay. Yeah, I've not done any practice for this track, but it is one of my favourite tracks, I must say. But in terms of the soft tyres, they're not a beautiful tyre to be driving on for too long. But the longer Jericho can stay on these tyres and stay within the DRS zone of Aldridge, then the better chance he has at a victory here in Spain. Because obviously when he puts on those medium tyres, he's going to have massive pace advantage in the first 5 laps or so. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, as Champ is only a 10th behind Yomir, currently running P6 and P7. Is he going to try and make a move here? It looks like he's got a bit more pace. Might have a little look up the inside, but I think he definitely thinks better of it, as he has done exactly there. Otapa still not managing to get into Jericho Balgos' DRS and stay there, which is, to be honest, he probably doesn't really need to at the moment. But it definitely put him in a better position, especially in terms of his ERS. But Jericho Balgos is still got very decent paces. You got Champ having a look up the inside of Yomir. He's going to be late on the brakes, and Yomir's going to look for the switchback. They're going to go wheel to wheel up into the final sector. Oh, just about left each other enough room. That curb there really does kind of throw you off there. Very good driving, very clean driving between the two. Well done to Champ. That was a good move around the inside, and he didn't just close the door, which we often do see, not in this league, to be honest, as Jericho's jumped into the pits. So Jericho Balgos has hopped into the pits. So we'll have to keep a very close eye on his pace. As you can see, Twaincoin's derating. Aldridge might have a look as he goes a little bit defensive. Twaincoin's managed to get himself back into the DRS zone, well, just for a second, the detection zone of his teammate Mo HD, as Jericho Balgos is coming, or is trundling down the pit lane now, currently P14, but obviously he'll be on the medium tyres. So what I will do is we'll watch that. Actually, no, we won't, not yet, because these guys won't be pitting anytime soon, you'd assume, for new tyres. But that is if they're trying to go for the soft tyres. So in a few laps, we'll have a look at the gap to the leader. It's currently 22.9 seconds between Jericho Balgos and Mo HD. So he most certainly will take the net race lead when everybody has pit. That is barring any safety cars or any unfortunate event for Jericho Balgos. At the moment, Aldridge looks like he's got an opportunity to make a move past the Red Bull with a significant amount of ERS advantage over Twaincoin. You look like he went a little bit deep there. We'll ride on board with Aldridge. You've got a very, very nice exit in that chicane, carrying very good mid-corner speed. It looks like Twaincoin will probably be defenseless to the attack. I'm sure he would. No, he doesn't even defend it. There's probably no point, as Aldridge streaks down him, and he will get into the DRS of Mo HD, obviously because of using that DRS on Twaincoin. So it could be a very, very good race for Aldridge if he can clear Mo HD. Mo's managed to save a bit of ERS in the time that Aldridge fell behind his teammate. So he's in a little bit of a better position than he was a few laps ago. As you can see, smoke. I'm not too sure why that smoke is there. I guess it's a glitch. They should really put smoke on lockups, like, properly. That'd be nice. As Patuka does the fastest lap of the race, showing he really does have pace. It's just a very unfortunate start to the race for him. Otapa at the moment is struggling for pace, as he's actually dropped off the guys out in front considerably. The gap is now 3 seconds. So Champ will be looking for an opportunity to get past the Aston Martin driver. And there you see it, the move being made. Is it going to be 2 positions lost for Otapa? As Otapa goes defensive very, very late there. You probably wouldn't have seen it as we switched off board, but they're going to go wheel to wheel. Hopefully they're going to keep it clean. This is going to give Champ a bit of an opportunity to push and get out of DRS, and Yome looking to go up the inside. Is he going to send it? No, he doesn't. Currently the gap now between Jericho Balgos and Mo HC is 22.2 seconds, so they're taking about 7/10 of a second, but that will obviously start to grow as the leaders' medium tires start to wear more and more. My apologies. So you can see out in front the gap now 4/10 of a second. So will Aldridge try and make a move here? He's managed to... Oh, and Mo jumped into the pits. Wow. Okay, so very early pit stop for Mo HD. He's going to go for the hard tires. Very interesting strategy from him. You would have thought that he'd stay out a bit longer and go for the hard tires. So what we will do is we'll actually jump on board with Jericho Balgos and see how close it is on exit, because obviously this could be potentially be for the net race lead. So if he can stay ahead of Jericho Balgos, you can see he's absolutely used all of his ERS. Is he going to get ahead? No, he's not. Mo HC is down the track and he's already on his way to turn one, but he's obviously on the hard tires. Very, very interesting strategy there. Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't say strategy. Bit of a tongue twister. Strategy. Anyways, yeah, very interesting strategy there from Mo HD. So we'll see how that plays out come the end of this race. But now I believe the incentive will be with Aldridge and Toincoin to kind of really extend this stint and go for the soft tires, because surely that will be the quickest way from lights to flag. And his teammate followed. So Toincoin also coming to the pit. So the rest of these guys thinking that medium hard is the way forward. Okay, so we'll watch Jericho Balgos and see if he can close in on Mo HD. We'll also see whether or not Toincoin comes out close to Jericho Balgos, who I'm sure is pushing like hell at the moment to really use those medium tires to his advantage. You can see he's hugging the inside. He probably thinks he's going to come out very near the Red Bull, and no, it's still quite a sizable gap between the two of them, as Mo HD also manages to get past Murphy. But you can see there that Eat My Dust and Jericho Balgos were battling. I think maybe Eat My Dust was out. I don't think I even noticed that. Eat My Dust actually had DRS on him. Maybe that was why Jericho was defending. And is he going to come back at him? No, he doesn't. Medium hard. I can't even remember what the best strategy is, but we will find out in about 17 laps time. We will most definitely find out. So yeah, out in front is Aldridge, who looks fairly comfortable on those medium tires. If I was him, I'm extending this stint as long as possible. As far as I can remember, I think the softs can go about 12 laps. Just depends on how you treat them. So we'll see what Aldridge... Yeah, you can see he's definitely thinking about the soft tires. So this race is going to explode into life at some point in the next 6 laps or so. So please stay tuned, because as we've seen here in F2 this season, it does really tend to do that at the end, as for some reason Ferret is being controlled by his AI. Sorry, I hope I'm not missing anything. Well, what you can see now is Toincoin, who obviously decided to go for the hard tires, has now got Jericho Balgos on the mediums, very close behind him, obviously in the DRS zone. So Toincoin without any DRS to defend, and his teammates now having a McLaren in between himself and the net race lead. I say net in very strong inverted commas, because obviously Aldridge is going or it does look like he's going to put on the soft tires. So how this race is going to pan out in that sense, I'm not too sure, but it looks like Murphy, yeah, Ferret's paused. So Ferret's paused, and this could be very costly for one of these drivers, as they're all gonna bottleneck, and as they all did bottleneck there, and Twinkling could come under pressure. We could have a 3 wide going into turn 1. They're all going to have the DRS wide open. Let's see what camera Codemasters is going to give us. Not a good enough camera. You can see Twinkling going to the left. This could end very, very badly. Unfortunately, Jacob Bagos stays very nicely out of it, and he does get past Murphy very, very cleanly. So very smart driving there from Twinkling. Very good defending to keep Jacob Bagos behind him. So they most certainly would have lost time to Mo HD at the moment. You can see the gap's now 2.7 seconds. Let's have a quick gap to the leader. So currently the gap to the leader for Mo HD is 18.6 seconds. So when Aldridge does pit, Mo HD will be ahead of him, but he needs to get a much bigger gap than that, because Aldridge will be on brand new soft tires and will be coming at him at a very fast rate of knots. So we'll keep that in mind here as we enter lap 19, as Aldridge is currently leading this race. You've got Champ, Yome, Otapa and Kaipi currently all on the medium tires, and it looks like they're going to look for the soft tires at the end. They'll be probably boxing within the next 3-4 laps or so. Obviously just dependent on how far they can stretch these medium tires. So can Twinkling defend from Jericho Bargos? I don't know, he can't. And Jericho's used all of his ERS there. And you can see that Twinkling's got a bit more in hand. So what? So not too much going on out on track at the moment. Really, this race is waiting for the top 5 to pit, basically, before the action really does commence. So at the moment, let's have a quick look at the... No, that's not what I want to look at. That's not what I want to do. It is not the penalties. It's the... There we go, position changes. So you can see Champ currently up 9 places. So it looks like it could be a good race for him. Obviously, he's going for the soft tires as well. So it should be interesting to see how it finishes out for him. You also got Kaipi, who's up 12 places, and Otapa, I believe, is coming in. No, there's something's happened there, and Otapa's lost the position. Has he got any damage though? No, I don't believe so. But he has lost the position, and Jericho Balgos is sorry for all the switching there. Jericho Balgos is managing to, well, no, Twinkling is managing to stay in the DRS of Jericho Balgos. You can see that red light flashing brightly on the back of his Mercedes. So that will be quite a lot of encouragement as Ferret has finally retired from the session. I'm not too sure what was going on there. As his car was paused, or he was paused. As we've got a few cars battling out back, actually. Maybe keep an eye on this, because there's not too much fighting going on elsewhere down the track. And it looks like Patuka's got damage. Yeah, Patuka's got damage. You can see he's got massive unders there. I wonder if he made contact with any of these cars up ahead. Obviously, there was, as Otapa's struggling. What's happening with Otapa? Otapa's got damage. Yeah, I was thinking it looked like he's got a bit of end plate damage, but he's lost quite a few positions now. I'm not too sure where or how. But unfortunately for Otapa, it was looking like a very good race, or potentially a good race for him. But you can see he's slowing down on the track, and he's ghosting, and he goes off track. I'm not sure what is going on. Aldridge is coming to the pits. There's yellow flags obviously in the final sector. What's Otapa thinking at the moment? I'm not too sure what is going on. I think he's trying to make his way into the pits. Yeah, he is. And Aldridge has come out 2 seconds behind Mo HD. So this, and just ahead of Jericho Balgos. So guys, this is going to be the battle for the lead. So if Jericho Balgos and Twinkling can really stay in the DRS of Aldridge, then we're going to have a 4-way battle for the lead. Mo HD is only 2 seconds up the road, but on hard tires. So as expected, this race is going to come into life. But for Aldridge, he's going to have to take those soft tyres 12 laps. So what he really needs to do is get off the Mo HD, pass him as quickly as possible, and basically just run away. Otherwise, it's going to be a very tight end, as we saw in China a few races ago, with Aldridge on soft tyres also. So let's hope it's not a flashback for him and he can get his first victory of the season. Or will Mo make it 2 in a row? Obviously, he's on the hard tyres. The guys up ahead are still yet to pit. So if there is a safety car, it could throw an absolute spanner in the works. Aldridge now only a second behind Mo, and Jericho Balgos not able to hang on to those soft tyres, because really this was always going to happen in terms of the soft tyres being quicker than the hards and the mediums. So it'll be interesting to see how aggressive Mo defends this. Really, he needs to keep Aldridge behind for as long as possible, obviously. But the longer he does keep him behind, even if it's for about 3-4 laps, the better chance he'll have of winning this race right at the end. As there's yellow flags in the final sector, I believe it's BIOS. And Kaipi, so up ahead, only 1.3 seconds. If he doesn't pit now, this could help Mo, as he would get helping of ERS, and Toyin Coin, I believe, is round. Toyin Coin spun out. So Toyin Coin trying to hang on to the back of Jericho Balgos has spun out. And unfortunately for him, he's probably going to lose positions. But this is the fight for the race lead. You've got Mo, who's gone all the way defensive to the right-hand side. He's going to have to squeeze Aldridge all the way to the apex. And he very late on the brakes. He's going to try and hang on, but he can't. He's defenseless in the battle with the Williams, who's on the soft tyres. Aldridge now is going to have to absolutely put the pedal down to the floor. You can see that Mo HT's used all of his ERS trying to defend also. Champ is now on soft tyres and ahead of Toyin Coin, who obviously had that spin. So Champ could well be in a good chance of a podium. He's 6.8 seconds behind Jericho Balgos, and he's going to have these tyres for 10 laps. Jericho Balgos will be on 20-lap old mediums by the end of this race, so it'll probably all even itself out, but it depends on how quickly Champ can go at this phase of the race. And you can see Mo really pushing to stay in the DRS there, and really this is what he's going to have to do if he wants to win the race. He's going to have to be as aggressive as possible in the next 6 laps to really stay, at least, if not in the DRS, at least very, very close to it, to maintain the potential to win this race. But you can see how much time Aldridge just pulls away in the final sector, where the tyres really matter. 1.1 seconds, and that means that Mo HD is out of the DRS, as there's yellow flags. Who's that, Malberg? So there's I think maybe an issue with the Haas. Not too sure what has gone on at the moment. This is currently the closest battle on the track. We'll keep an eye on that gap out in front. Currently 1.2 seconds now. So Aldridge really trying to extend his lead. And you can see they're about to go 3 wide going into the corner, and Murphy smartly backs out of it. Masiek takes the position from Malberg. Apologies, I didn't go anywhere, but yeah, so this is currently the closest battle on the track. Champ doing the fastest lap, so he's taking about 2 seconds out of Jericho Balgos. So if he can make his way onto the podium, it'd be a very, very good drive from the McLaren driver. His teammate currently fighting for the final points position down in P12 at the moment. As you can see, you've got Malberg derating up ahead. Is he going to defend? It doesn't look like he will, but he is going to go down the inside and make the move stick. Yes, he does. So well done to Murphy there. The gap out in front is currently 1.5 seconds. So Mo HD doing a very, very good job to stay close to Aldridge. Because again, if he does keep that gap at 1.5 seconds, he may well find himself back in the position to attack the Williams driver in the next 5 laps, or probably after the next 5 laps, the last 3 laps of the race, say. But again, not really too much going on. It looks like the next fight we will see after this will be Champ on the back of Jericho Balgos, who's at the moment struggling to keep up to pace with Mo HD on those hard tires. You can see Murphy going up the inside of Masick. They're just about giving each other enough room. That curb on the inside is a very difficult one, to say the least. And Yomir and Toin Coin switching places. So Toin Coin not having the greatest stint on these hard tires. So the choice to pit early for him not really paying out. It hasn't paying off. It hasn't materialized in the way that he would have wanted. As you've also got Murphy and Masiek switching places for the final points position. Obviously Murphy is on new soft tires, so fairly one-sided in that sense. The gap out in front, 1.6 seconds. Oh, Moise, he's out of the race. He's out of the race. He spun it on the inside, so he was pushing it, and it's going to be a safety car. Oh my God. So he was pushing it to stay as close to Aldridge as possible. As you can see on the inside there, he's totaled his Red Bull, and the chance of winning back-to-back races is now gone. But what is Aldridge going to do? I think he has to pit, because everybody else, actually no, not everybody else will pit, but he does pit. Jericho Balgos is going to pit. Champ is probably going to stay out. Is Champ going to box? Yes, so everybody's going to pit for the new softs. Yeah, because at this point, I think the safest option is to come in for the new soft tires. So I'll be very, very surprised if absolutely anybody stays out on the track. RP the prediction, only 8 laps to go. Yeah. So absolutely everybody. No, Slimmy Jim's not in the pits. So we're gonna have one rogue hard tire runner who's up now into P3. So now we've got a real battle for the lead, and it's going to be the 2 guys that are yet to win a race. Probably. Oh, and they almost made contact there. Wow. So fortunately for Jericho Balgos, he didn't spear into Aldridge's rear wing, but yeah, it's going to be a battle for the lead between these 2 drivers. Everybody decided to pit. Kaipi stays out on the soft tires. So a bit of a lifeline here for a few drivers. Woutinho is down by 2 minutes. Is he still driving? And he decided not to pit. Has he been lapped? I'm assuming he's been lapped. Let's check if he's been lapped. Yeah, he's been lapped. Okay, fair enough. Okay, Woutinho's been lapped. So he's there's no lifeline for Woutinho, unfortunately. But nonetheless, we've got Slippy Jimmy on the hard tires. So this is going to be quite entertaining to watch in terms of him trying to hold literally everybody else back on the field. I'd say very strange decision to not pit, but I'll ask you guys, what are now your updated predictions? Who's going to win this race? What's the podium going to be? I'd probably go for Aldridge, Jericho, and then absolutely anybody below that. I have no idea, because this Alpine could cause quite the mess on those hard tires. Champ will obviously be in the best position to capitalize, but you don't know what any of the other drivers behind are thinking at the moment. We'll probably have one more lap behind the safety car as the last 3 cars coming through the final sector. Okay, so yeah. So when the safety car comes in, it will be lap 29. So we will get at least 2 laps with DRS. So Slippy Jimmy is the man in third on the hard tires. So yeah, this could kick off quite a lot, as we've seen in recent weeks. As you can see, the safety car is in on this lap. So obviously the battle for the lead will most likely be between Aldridge and Jericho. It just depends on how Slippy Jimmy, or how long Slippy Jimmy can keep everybody else behind. I don't assume it will be for too long, but Champ will want to get past as soon as possible to see if he can have an opportunity to win the Spanish Grand Prix. We'll ride, actually we won't ride on board, we'll ride off board and see what camera code masters give us. As actually no, we will ride on board because sometimes the camera likes to do silly things. You can see it's gonna be interesting to see when he goes. Aldridge has gone, so he's gone fairly early, and he's got the jump on the guys. Man, you can see Champ is so close behind the Alpine of Slippy Jimmy. So again, just showing you how much Slippy Jimmy is probably going to struggle. Is he going to defend the third position? Is he going to go to the inside? It looks like he's got a little bit more straight line speed. They bang wheels there, and Champ very easily up the inside. So Champ not wasting any time trying to get after the guys in the lead. Aldridge is taking off at the moment out in front. The gap's 1.1 seconds. You've got Yomi and Kaipi going wheel to wheel, coming down into the middle sector. Is Yomi going to be deep on the brakes? Yes, he is. They're going to bang wheels, but he gets the position. Is Kaipi going to try and come back at him? No, he doesn't. So he thinks better of coming back at the Alpine driver. At the moment, Twain is trying to make his way back up into the podium positions, but it looks like the gaps out in front are fairly consistent. Aldridge got the perfect restart, and at the moment he's just maintaining that gap, and you've got Yomi now looking at his teammate up the inside, and surely he's going to get the move done. Yes, he does. Is he going to lose another position? As you can see, Kaipi's looking to slot in just behind the Alpine, who's really going to struggle to keep up. Is he going to try and go up the inside? You don't want to do it there. They make a little bit of contact, and this is going to bring absolutely everybody else into play. As we said before the safety car restart, Kaipi trying to go for a move that was basically never going to happen. Champ is actually closing behind Jericho Balgos for second position. The gap's now 9/10 of a second, so they're all running fairly closely together. As you can also see Captain Emery having a little look there in the background on Murphy in the McLaren. Oh, and 20 coins out. I believe surely he's out of the race. He's not out of the race somehow, but that is the end of his race. Unfortunately for Twain Coin, it's gone from bad to worse in the second half of this race. It was such a good start, such a good first stint, but he struggled a lot in this second half of this race, and he's probably going to finish no higher than P15 again, unless something crazy does happen in the dying stages of this race. You've still got Kaipi struggling to get past Slippy Jimmy, who's actually doing a very good job to stay ahead on these hard tires. For how long though? Probably not for much longer. DRS is going to be activated on the next lap. Yes, I think DRS will be activated on the next lap, so keep that in mind. Still, he's basically going to be... Oh, they've made contact. I was literally going to say he's basically going to be pushing him around the final sets, and there you go. You can see it's happening. And the McLaren getting out of shape. It's all going on behind Slippy Jimmy as anticipated, and it looks like the Alfa Romeo of Masiek trying to go for a move as well. There's quite a lot going on here. Eat My Dust also looking to get past Captain Emery for P7, all while Slippy Jimmy still in P5. And a move there between Masiek and Murphy. They made contact. There's yellow flags in the, I think it's Twain Coin. As the Mercedes and now AlphaTauri going wheel to wheel. And the Mercedes gets through. Wow. And is that Masiek going for a move up the inside as well? The McLaren of Murphy having a look up the inside of Malberg. He doesn't get the move done, and he may actually get overtaken by Patuka here. Quite a lot of battling going on, excuse me, for the final points positions as Twain Coin is retired. Is at the last corner. I think he's DNF in the pit lane. There won't be a safety car because there's only 2 laps to go. You can see Champ's 8 attempts behind Jericho Balgos at the moment, but this is where most of the battling is going on. As you've got Bios and Hassan switching positions. Out back, and they make contact, and are they going to go into the barrier? They managed to keep it out. So we're entering the penultimate lap of the race. We have entered the penultimate lap of the race, and we're going to ride on board with Champ, who's currently half a second behind Jericho Bagos. He's going to send it up the inside. Yes, he does, and Jericho stays out of the way. It's a good move there from Champ. He gets the position done, so currently up into P2. It's been a great it's been a great drive from him at the moment. Meanwhile, Kaipi looking to finally get past Slippy Jimmy, who has to relinquish P5 finally after a few laps. It's been a very, very good job from the Alpine driver, I must say, to maintain that position all up until now. Hopefully it continues for the next few laps, because he's got a swarm of guys very, very close behind him that are going to be looking and they're definitely smelling opportunity for sixth position as Jericho Balgos gets a 3-second time penalty. So that is probably his fight for P2 over. And it looks like Aldridge is fairly comfortable out in front at the moment. So we will have a quick flick down the field to the battle for the points positions and see where this is going to end up. They're still all going to bottleneck behind the Alpine driver. As you can see, he's currently running in P6 at the moment. He's got about 7 cars behind him who are all looking to take at least one position in the final few laps of this race. And Jericho Balgos can't keep up with Champ, so it's been a very, very good drive from Champ. I believe he's gained about 10 positions. Let's have a quick look at positions gained. Yeah, he's gained 9 positions. And if he keeps it clean, he will finish in P2. At the moment, we've got a bit of a DRS train here, so Masick not managing to make up enough ground. Is he going to send it up the inside? No, he doesn't. But Eat My Dust goes a little bit deep, and this could give Masick an opportunity up the inside. Ooh, and they make a little bit of contact there. The McLaren of Murphy may well go for a move. He's going to try and send up between both of them. No, he doesn't. And you can see, I think there's a bit of lag there up ahead. Yeah, Captain Emery's disconnecting a bit, and you can see that the Ferrari of Patuca is trying to snatch a point at the end of this race after what was a very torrid start for him. These guys are fighting quite intensely, and Malberg is also going to sniff an opportunity. Finally, they've given us a good camera, and he's going to go up the inside. No, he's not. But Murphy looking to keep it around the outside, and these guys got to make contact. They're managing to keep it clean at the moment. It's been some pretty good wheel-to-wheel racing, but as we do that, Aldridge comes across the line to win his first race of the season and maintain his championship lead. Champ with a brilliant drive from P11 up to P2, I believe. As you can see, the race ends there without any noticeable contact. So good driving between the drivers, and a very, very big round of applause for Slippy Jimmy, who's managed to maintain P5. How, I am not too sure, but he has managed to do so nonetheless. So Aldridge taking his first victory of the season, so that will extend his championship lead. You've got Champ, who had a brilliant drive to get up onto the podium. Jericho Balgos from P6 up to P3. Yomir will also be quite delighted with his result, as well as Slippy Jimmy, who managed to hang on with those hard tyres. I have no idea how personally, but a very, very good job from both the Alpine drivers. Captain Emre gaining a position to finish in P6. Kaipi also gaining 10 positions. Eat My Dust, who started last, finishes 8th. Patuca, who had a very terrible start to the race, he salvages 2 points. And Malberg rounds out the top 10. So it was a excuse me, fairly excuse me, sorry, my throat is bugging. It's what happens when you commentate by yourself. A fairly entertaining race there. Obviously Spain doesn't always throw up the best of races. We've definitely had better. But nonetheless a good result for a lot of the drivers. Unfortunately, I cannot do the press conference as I've got to leave my house. Next week, I'm not sure. Let me check what track is next week. Next week will be the Portuguese Grand Prix, Portimao. So very nice track, Portimao. And then after that, we've got Baku, which, yeah, Baku is always a bit crazy. But obviously tomorrow, F1, so be sure to tune in to F1 tomorrow. I believe we've got a full grid or thereabouts, so it should be a good race. But yeah, until next time, next week, I'm sure I'll be commentating next week. But yeah, join us tomorrow for F1, where obviously I'll be racing. But yeah, till then, from myself, have a good weekend. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, peace.